Welcome to the AI for Career Success podcast by Curt Robbins, where we help you get smarter than your competition. This is episode 140. I'm Fred, and with me is Daphne, who is, I think, the only person I know who can look at robotics blueprints and market forecasts and somehow turn them into crystal clear career advice.
It's great to be here, and today we're tackling a big one, a huge one, really, the rise of humanoid robots. It's everywhere right now.
It really is. And this whole discussion was actually recommended by our producer, Curt Robbins. It's all based on a really compelling LinkedIn article by Mark Standen.
Right, it's called Humanoids, Hype or the Next Industrial Revolution. It just came out, November 18th, 2025.
So we're very current.
Very. And our mission today is pretty straightforward, especially for you, the working professional. We're asking, are these humanoids a truly revolutionary force about to impact your job? Or are they still, just really expensive prototypes?
We're trying to cut through the sci-fi buzz and just look at the facts.
The numbers, the scale, and the timelines. That's what matters for your career.
Okay, so let's get into it. The article really establishes that this global race is, well, it's dominated by two big players, China and the United States.
Right, but their approaches are completely different, and that's what's so fascinating.
How so?
Well, China is all about scale, just massive scale and getting things out there fast. They're already the world's largest producer.
Wow.
Yeah, over 60 companies are already active. We're talking major firms like Tech, Unitree Robotics.
And these aren't just lab experiments, right?
Not at all. Their models, like the Walker S and King Long, are already being trialed out in the real world, in logistics, manufacturing, and even in elder care. They're learning at scale.
So China's got the scale. What about the U.S.?
The U.S. is more focused on pure innovation, on making these technological leaps. Think of the big names, Agility Robotics, Tesla, Figure AI.
Right, with Digit and Optimus.
Exactly. And they're designed for very specific things. Automating repetitive tasks in warehouses, on factory floors. They're trying to solve those labor shortage problems first.
Okay, so if we zoom out a bit, we have to talk about the money behind all this, because that's what tells you if it's real.
It's the ultimate validator. And the article cites analysis from the Yole Group.
And for anyone who doesn't know, they're a huge deal in tracking this kind of market growth.
A huge deal, and their projection is just staggering. They're expecting the global humanoid robot market to hit $51 billion by 2035.
$51 billion.
That's not just hype. That shows serious long-term industry commitment.
But the real driver here, the thing that makes this whole thing explode, it's the price drop.
Absolutely. This is the part that should get everyone's attention. The average price for one of these humanoids is expected to fall to around $25,000.
$25,000. And how are they getting it that low?
It's mainly down to Chinese manufacturing. The scale, the efficiency, standardizing all the parts.
So let's connect this for the listener. Why should you care specifically about that $25,000 number?
Because that is the economic trigger point.
Yeah.
Look, an average logistics worker in the U.S. makes, what, $50,000, $60,000 a year? Plus benefits.
Right.
A robot that costs 25 grand, the return on investment is less than a year. Once that math works, adoption is going to go from a trickle to a flood.
That's the pivot point. That's the moment things really change.
It is.
Okay, so that sets the stage. Let's move from those big projections to what's actually happening on the ground, beyond the buzz.
We're already seeing them in industrial settings. Robots like Digit, they're being tested to handle simple, predictable tasks on a factory floor.
The goal being to reduce labor costs.
Reduce costs, improve efficiency, and handle those jobs that are, frankly, really tough on a human body. Picking something specific from a specific spot over and over, that's their sweet spot right now.
But it's not just about factories. The article points to consumer applications, too.
Yeah, which is a whole different ballgame. It gives the example of X1 Technology's home assistant robot, Neo.
And it has a price point.
It does, around 16,000 pounds, or you can get it on a subscription. That tells you they're already planning for direct-to-consumer sales, not just huge corporate contracts.
And that consumer idea leads right into healthcare, doesn't it?
It's the massive future potential. The reason they need to be humanoid in form is so they can navigate our world doorways, stairs, and interact with people in a way that feels natural, or at least not threatening, especially in elder care.
Now, the U.S. and China dominate this, but the U.K. It's carving out its own little niche, isn't it?
It is. It's a much smaller cluster, for sure. There was an 800 million euro investment in 2025, but, a lot of that is for general AI, not just humanoids.
But what they are doing is interesting.
Very. The article highlights engineered arts. They developed Amica, which is famous for being one of the most expressive humanoids in the world.
So they're focusing on the interface,
Yeah.
the interaction.
The soft skills of robotics, if you want to call it that. It's crucial for those future consumer and healthcare markets we were just talking about.
And what about the other UK example? Cyber cells.
Oh, this is fascinating. They're working on remote robot control using VR teleoperation.
So a human is driving the robot remotely.
In real time. You wear a VR headset and you see what the robot sees. You control its movements. Think about tasks in dangerous places, an oil rig, a disaster zone. It bridges the gap between what the machine can do on its own and what requires human judgment.
That's a really smart way to bridge that gap. Okay, before we get to the reality check here, let's take a brief break for a special message from our producer, Curt Robbins.
Hi, this is Curt Robbins. First, thanks for listening. I truly appreciate your support. I want to let you know that I'm currently accepting new clients. My rates are affordable, and I have more than 25 years of experience working for enterprise companies like Microsoft, Northrop Grumman, Oracle, PNC Bank, FedEx, USAA, and Wells Fargo, among many others. If you want to improve your IT documentation and communications, hire me. I deliver fast, know how to use AI to improve efficiency and accuracy, and love going the extra mile to satisfy my clients. Thank you for subscribing and listening. Back to you, Daphne and Fred.
Welcome back to the AI for Career Success podcast. Okay, so we've established the market is real, the money is there, but for any professional listening to this, you have to understand the barriers. They're just as important as the potential.
Right, because the hurdles dictate the pace.
Yeah.
So what's standing in the way of these things being everywhere tomorrow?
The first one is still technical. It's mobility and dexterity. They are great in a predictable, structured factory, but the real world, it's messy.
You mean like picking up a drop pen?
Exactly. Or dealing with a tangled cable on a hospital floor. That kind of unstructured environment is still incredibly difficult for them. It's a huge technical bottleneck.
And then there's the cost. Even at $25,000, that's a massive investment for a small or medium-sized business.
A huge barrier. They can't take that kind of financial risk. Not yet.
And maybe the trickiest one of all, the rules.
The regulatory lag. Yeah. The legal and ethical frameworks just, they can't keep up with the tech. Who's liable when a teleoperated robot makes a mistake?
The operator, the manufacturer, the software.
Who knows? And that uncertainty creates risk. And big companies, especially in healthcare, hate risk. They'll wait for regulators to give them clear rules of the road before they invest millions.
So that's a powerful break on the whole process, no matter how good the tech gets.
A very powerful break.
Okay, so let's circle back to the article's main question. Hype or revolution? Fact or fiction?
The conclusion is, I think, perfect. It's fact with a long runway.
A marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly. The revolution is real, but widespread adoption depends on three things all coming together. Those falling costs, much smarter AI that can handle complexity, and clear regulations.
So what's the career takeaway for someone listening right now? How do you position yourself for a marathon?
It all comes down to timing and knowing your sector. If you work in logistics or repetitive manufacturing, the runway is shorter. You need to be upskilling now.
Into what, specifically?
Things like systems integration, maintenance of autonomous systems, learning platforms like ROS, the robot operating system. You need to become the person who manages the machines, not the person the machine replaces.
And what if you're in healthcare?
You have a bit more time. The runway is longer because of the complexity and the regulations. There, you should focus on two areas, either on the development side, human-robot interaction, making them more approachable, or double down on the high-touch, empathetic human care that a robot just won't be able to replicate for a long, long time.
So understanding the pace of your specific industry is the key.
It's everything for your career planning.
That's a fantastic way to frame it. So building on that, here's our final thought for you to consider. Given that critical $25,000 price point, which of those three sectors we talked about, industrial, consumer, or healthcare, do you think will actually see the quickest job disruption or job creation first? It's something to think about as you plan your own next move. Thank you for listening to the AI for Career Success podcast from Curt Robbins, where we help you get smarter than your competition. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, and share. We'll see you next time.